Hi, welcome back again to quick 2-minute lessons with Agnes. These are some little side quests of things I've learned during my research and wanted to share with you. Today we're going to be talking about a concept of extant, original, from the time of, and how extant is something when you say it's extant. How old is it really? Just because it's a museum, do we take that at face value? And what does that even mean? When I was working on my latest research performance piece, I was looking at the chapter house in the Worcester Art Museum. And it is a chapter house from a Benedictine priory that was literally taken brick by brick, piece by piece, from Europe in the early 1920s to America by a wealthy businessman because he wanted to, and installed in the Worcester Art Museum. To me, this would be a great place to perform a bardic piece. It has amazing acoustics. And I was like, wow, I don't have to go to Europe to be in something that is old. And then I started to research the location itself more, understand the chapter house, because more than just having a bardic piece, I wanted to understand right down to the moment what it would be like to say something in that room that might have been said in the past. Well, it was old, right? Like this video, it's sepia toned. It must be old. Well, parts of the chapter house aren't as old as they seemed, old being a relative term. You see, the chapter house was built relatively in the 12th century. But changes happen over time, much like we remodel our house and throw on a deck 20 years later, or the old driveway gets paved over and a new one gets put in. The fireplace, this central, beautiful fireplace with a wonderful Italian fresco above it, mother and child. When you look at it, it's striking. But you know what? That fireplace was modified and that extra part was added 400 years after it was built. Either side of the fireplace are these magnificent stained glass windows, and some of the cherubs are playing lutes, and it's just amazing stained glass. As I researched the documents in the archival file that came from the librarian at the museum, guess what? Those windows were never there when the chapter house was in France. They're bits and pieces of an Anglican church's glass windows that were collected after World War I and redesigned into the patterns that you see today. So you have Anglican windows in a French Benedictine priory chapter house room. Together you look at it and go, oh my goodness, what a stunning medieval place. But changes have happened to it over time, and not just the moving it from one country to another. So the takeaway, when we see something in a museum, ask yourself, were there changes made over time? How do places specifically change over time? How does a piece, if you're researching it, over being used or perhaps saved over time, become altered? Remember, there's always more to extant than just old.